At Cynthia Rogers, MD Dermatology, we specialize in providing comprehensive expert care for the full spectrum of skin conditions, from complex skin diseases and skin cancer to aging concerns and aesthetic needs. With decades of combined experience in medical, surgical, and aesthetic dermatology, our team brings both deep clinical knowledge and a patient-first approach to every visit. Our practice focuses on developing personalized treatment plans tailored to each individual's skin, health, and life stage. We're located in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in the PSL Professional Center. Learn more or schedule a visit at floridaskindoctor.com.
Steel Graphics and Designs creates custom racing wraps and logos built for the real world and iRacing. From bold liveries to clean, professional branding, every design is made to perform on and off the track. Ready to upgrade your look? Contact Steel Graphics and Designs for custom wraps. Visit Steel Graphics and Designs on Facebook to learn more.
Backed by 70 years of experience, Duncan Water Systems specializes in commercial and residential water system testing, design, installation, and maintenance. Our mission at Duncan Water Systems is to provide high-quality water solutions to every customer. We pride ourselves on being responsive, honest, and customer-oriented. Our priority is safer water for you and your family. Contact us via call, text, email, or visit us at duncanwatersystems.com.
Welcome to the FloridaSkinDoctor.com racing series for race number 4 of the BTDY season. Tonight we head to Atlanta Motor Speedway, but not the new drafting style Atlanta. This is good old abrasive Atlanta from the 2007 layout of the Speedway. This track's going to chew through some tires and test driver patience here this evening. Who's going to be the one to balance that tire management and speed to come out on top? We will find out live right here on VSPEED for the VSPEED Atlanta 210. Good evening. My name is Daniel Cunningham, joined up here in the booth by the boss man, Adam Baker, running the production as well as doing co-commentary here this evening, as well as our camera angles, courtesy of the legendary Dougie Beard. Adam, this is going to be a wild one here this evening. This track is not easy to drive. There is not a ton of grip out there. I've already seen drivers slipping and sliding around all through practice. What do you think we've got in store for this one here this evening?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, these next-gen machines, Gen 7 cars, are definitely, hard to handle on a good day. And then we're here at Atlanta, one of the most difficult, bumpy, abrasive tracks, the non-repaved, non-super speedway version, like you said, and it's going to be a handful for these drivers. You can see even in qualifying, just on the first and second lap on cold tires, they are really struggling to put good laps down here, and it's going to be fun to watch people battle, watch people conserve, and see how they run this race here for 140 laps.
It absolutely is going to be a good one. Take a look at the track info there. Located in Hampton, Georgia, just over 1.5 miles in length. 24 degrees of banking in the turns, that classic quad oval. Had a few different configurations of the track. Initially didn't have that quad oval when it was first opened. And of course, now we've got that super speedway. I don't know. It's almost like Talladega off a Wish version is the best way that I would describe it. It thinks it's a super speedway, but it really isn't. But this one is at least my favorite version of the racetrack. It really puts a lot back into the driver's hands. Even here, like you mentioned in practice, we've been seeing some drivers kind of slipping and sliding around. It's going to make it quite a challenge here this evening. Quick look at the race analysis. We've got 140 laps on deck here this evening. Going to have that comp caution at lap number 20. Pit window fuel run going to be anywhere from about 45 to 50 laps. The admins quite generous with the Goodyear tire bill here this evening. They've got 6 sets of tires available, the 5 in the pits, 1 on the car, and 3 green white checker attempts if we need them. But these drivers have completed their qualifying runs, and it is time to give you the full grid for tonight's event here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Starting on pole, early season favorite for the championship, a driver who has already won twice out of the first 3 races. Tonight's pole sitter is going to be Adam Cabot in that 17. Braxton DeWeese in the 00 starting to his outside on row number 1. Row number 2 is going to be made up of Seth Hatchell and James Loveland of VSPEED, row 2 there for 3rd and 4th place. Rolling off in 5th, Dallas Sullivan, really strong qualifying run for him, a driver that typically been skipping qualifying, starting in the back. He is going to start in the top 5 here this evening. Eric Hutton in that 88 going to be starting in 6th. Rolling off in 7th, Bradley Cooper, Keith Biotto to his outside in 8th. Rounding out your top 10 here this evening for the starting order is going to be Bailey Turner in 9th and Angelo Ronis in 10th.
Rolling off 11th here tonight, it's going to be Cody Adkins in the Waffle House number 55 machine. Ray Massey going to be starting to his outside in the 12th position. Starting in 13th, it's Jeremiah Vincent. 14th will be Jake Miller in the number 52 machine. Starting 15th tonight, Paul Hahn going to be in that number 7 car. The 18 of Cody Maurer going to roll off from 16th. 17th on the grid tonight, Alan Dice. Rolling off 18th, Christian Blackwell. Starting in 19th, Chris Samard and Rob Liedl rounding out the top 20.
In 21st this evening, not registering a lap time, is going to be Max Cost with Zachary Tyler in 22nd. 23rd, Dennis Faircloth. Kind of a surprise on that one. He was top of the charts in practice, does not register a time. He'll be starting in 23rd. Jake Maki roll it off in the 24th position. Rounding out your field here this evening is going to be Zach Smith in the 91 and Michael Jones in the 2, 25th and 26th place, making up your full grid here this evening. And these drivers are starting their pace laps, getting ready, or pace lap rather, getting ready to get this thing fired off here this evening. And Adam, what's our track temp looking like out there this evening? If we can take a quick look at that. 129 degrees, as if this track wasn't a challenge enough as it is. Even in the dead of winter in iRacing, it is still a scorcher out there today, 86 degrees, but that track temp of 129 is going to have these drivers absolutely fighting for every last bit of grip that they can get here this evening. Getting ready to fire off for the evening. Adam Cabot, your pole sitter, he is electing to start up on the top side here. And one thing that we're going to have to keep an eye on, both on this initial start and on all the subsequent restarts here this evening, is tire spin. Even though these tires have no laps on them, they have maximum grip at the moment. Something that I firsthand experienced here in another league race just a week ago. This restart zone is quite sketchy. It can be like driving on ice out there when you first fire off. But pace car is off. Barney's got the green flag in hand. And we are racing here at Atlanta, and already some drivers going 3 wide. There was that tire spin. That looked like Bradley Cooper right there just inside the top 10. Spun his tires on the initial start, gets shuffled to the middle, but everybody able to keep it rolling. The battle for the lead is on between Adam Cabot and Braxton DeWeese.
A good battle for the race lead. Cabot going to take the top spot for the moment, and DeWeese going to settle in behind Seth Hatchell. Dallas Sullivan and Eric Hutton make up the top 5. Looks like about a 6 or 7 car breakaway, and then a little bit of a gap back to Ray Massey there in the 9th position. As across the line for the first time, it is Adam Cabot with the race lead and the first lap led. Side-by-side battle now as Eric Hutton looks to the inside of Dallas Sullivan. That's going to be for a top 5 position.
Yeah, and I think we'll see a few different agendas here early on, since we do have that competition caution at lap number 20. I think you're going to see some drivers just kind of go out there, maybe burn it down for 20 laps, see what this car can do. And if you burn the tires up, no great loss. You're going to be able to come down and put another set on once we hit that comp caution. I would doubt very seriously that we see anybody try to stay out or pull any kind of strategy move like that. But right now, though, your top five, Adam Cabot, Braxton DeWeese, Seth Hatchell, Dallas Sullivan, and Eric Hutton. Angelo Road is currently the biggest mover so far. He is up 4 positions from where he started, already early on the move here up to that number 6 position.
Yeah, he's got James Loveland there behind him. Those two have been battling here for the first few laps, and then Keith Mayato behind them. Ray Massey starting to close the gap back up to the top 8, and he is bringing Bailey Turner, a driver that we would expect to be good on the long run in these next-gen machines. And we have a 3-wide battle further back. Dennis Faircloth was in the middle for a second. Rob Lito backs out, but that was that can get pretty sketchy here at Atlanta, going down into turn 3 wide.
Yeah, it can absolutely get sketchy in a hurry. And see a good battle for position here between Dennis Faircloth. Jake Bakke also got Jeremiah Vincent there just ahead as well. And that black number 3 car was up there battling with Alan Dice just a moment ago, but Alan Dice starting to pull away a little bit here. 3 cars under a blanket. Dennis Faircloth trying to make up some ground from where he started. Currently has gained 3 positions, actually make that 4 positions now, as he does get the nose ahead of Jeremiah Vincent. So Dennis Faircloth using that pace here early.
Yeah, and there was a slow car there. Cody Maurer really had a hard time through 3 and 4 the last time around. He's going to lose a lot of ground, and Dennis Faircloth going to get some nice breathing room to the cars behind him. And now it's going to be Jake Bakke looking to try and move up a position. But driver, you mentioned Jeremiah Vincent he's had a really good start to this season. Really good finishes in the first few races. Runner-up behind Adam Cabot at North Wilkesboro on a little bit of a different strategy, and he's had a very strong opening. I would expect to see him on the long run, move through the field like he has done all season. Right now running in just inside the top 20. Also week 1 winner Bradley Cooper. Strong start for him, just outside the top 10.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper, he did spin his tires there on that initial start and was the one that got shuffled to the middle. He's done a nice job of just kind of stabilizing right now. He's got Cody Adkins there in the 55, looking to his inside, trying to gain a position here. Atkins looking down to the inside. It seems like the outside is kind of the preferred place to be. Once you get a few laps on the tires, you can really use that momentum to kind of defend your position. It makes it really hard for that car on the inside to complete the passes. That proving to be the case for right now, as Bradley Cooper utilizing that high groove to keep that position. But up front, battle for the lead is on. Seth Hatchell and Adam Cabot trading that position back and forth. And Seth Hatchell actually able to complete the pass on Adam Cabot to get around him for the lead, but Cabot now looking back to the inside. Seth Hatchell able to use that high lane, though, maintains the momentum, put the 8 car to the top of the pylon.
Yeah, Hatchell and Cabot, they've been the class of the field so far this season. Adam Cabot with the victory, Seth Hatchell with the runner-ups and the podium finishes. But, Seth Hatchell has gone to victory lane here in championship races in the past, so in pressure situations, I would expect to see him perform very well, and he is running way up there by the outside wall. Adam Cabot now running the inside groove. Also saw a change for position, or a battle at least brewing behind. That is Dallas Sullivan and Keith Mayato. Bradley Cooper on the apron.
The 1 car is spinning. We'll see if that triggers a caution. I am shocked. There it is. Caution does come out. I was going to say, I am shocked that is not triggering an iRacing caution here, but it does indeed come out here on lap number 10. Let's go back and take a quick look on the VSPEED instant replay. Bradley Cooper just kind of running the middle groove on his own, and you can see the back end started to step out really early. Nice job, honestly, of hanging on to it there and keeping it off the wall, keeping it out of traffic as well, and great job by the field to avoid him on the incident there. So under caution early on here, and I don't believe that this will qualify as our competition caution. I think that we'll still have that lap 20 caution.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the race control decides here. But yeah, it's halfway to the comp yellow, and so it'll be a decision point for drivers to maybe use tires or preserve a set, as Seth Hatchell will lead the field down, and it looks like everybody is coming with him. We'd seen some fall
Yeah, I
off
would.
about a second per lap.
Yeah, and I would say this is indicative that this will indeed be counted as a competition caution. I would have to think if it's not, there would be somebody trying to save a set of tires or maybe just trying to alternate strategies. But this does open the door for every driver to come down pit lane. And it looks like indeed the entire field is on pit road here to the attention of their pit crew. But actually, let me take that back. I believe one driver may have come down for just fuel only, or take a look here, because Dennis Faircloth was actually the first car off of pit road, but it's not showing that he spent any time in his pit box. So I believe he may have actually just missed his pit box. However, Dallas Sullivan, he does make a strategy call here. He's the first car off pit road that did stop in their box, and he took 2 tires on that pit stop.
Yeah, it's early in the race. Good time to experiment for a situation potentially later in the race. We heard the other week, I believe it was North Wilkesboro, where Adam Cabot was saying that 2 tires can work for you, on a short run, especially, 5 to 10 laps. It can be, a pretty good choice, as Dallas Sullivan is going to bring it back in, though. So maybe that was a mistake on his part, as it looks like Dennis Faircloth also going to bring it down here after missing his box the last time. So I guess we won't see a strategy call.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, so I could hear some of the things that drivers say on race comms, and as soon as he came off pit road, I think I heard Dallas Sullivan say something to the effect of, "Oh no, I only took 2 tires." So I'm wondering if maybe that was the original call, thinking some other drivers may follow suit, and he just realized this may not be in my best interest to continue on this strategy. But one driver that is playing a strategy move right now, outside of the 3rd row, that 2 car of Michael Jones, he took fuel only on that pit stop. So that to me is going to be the driver to watch to see how well is he able to maintain this track position. We saw the tire spin on that initial start of the race with fresh tires. Now he's going to be trying to restart with 10-lap old tires. So that is, to me, that's where you got to watch right now. That could be where a little bit of calamity breaks out, just with the difference of the tire fall off that we've seen early on here. But field's going to be in control of Seth Hatchell for this restart. Adam Cabot to his outside. Braxton Deweese, Eric Hutton, and Angelo Ronis, your top 5 as we get ready to go back green here. Green flag in the air. Good, clean start so far, but yeah, big tire spin there. And oh, the 15 is around. Christian Blackwell is around, and that collects a few other drivers as well. The 7 of Paul Hahn is involved. Dallas Sullivan having to go through the grass to avoid it. Cody Maurer also with heavy damage there. And a quick caution back out here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So we'll go ahead and take a quick look on the replay here. I think that is another instance of tire spin, maybe a little further back in the pack. Yeah, it looked like the 15 was just trying to check up for a little accordion effect there. And just the farther back you go in the pack, the worse that gets.
Yeah, he gets into the wall head first, and then Zach Smith, nowhere to go for him. You can see Maurer, nowhere for him to go. Paul Hahn kind of just, no fault of his own, in the wrong place, wrong time there. Dennis Faircloth, who missed pit lane, had to take evasive action. You see Dallas Sullivan as well. I saw Bradley Cooper, who was involved in the last yellow flag. He just made it through the middle of all of that, so nice job by him to avoid. But yeah, not the way you want to get going there on that restart.
And it looked like it was the 80 of Rob Liedl that actually got into the back of Christian Blackwell. I'd be curious if we could get a quick onboard of that restart with the 80 of Rob Liedl, because it almost from the initial angle that we had kind of looked like maybe a little bit of neck code or something there too. It didn't look like he really made contact at first. So let's go quick on board here. And okay, yeah, that was not contact, and I don't even think that was net code. I think that may have actually been purely tire spin on the 15 car there. It looked like it may have been contact at first, just with the way that car took off to the right. But yeah, I think that is just purely a product of tire spin with this old abrasive surface that we have here.
Yeah, it did appear to be the case. 15 just to not getting hooked up there. Very similar to what we saw happen to Bradley Cooper, except Bradley was able to hang on to it just a little bit more than that. 15 goes around this time. Second caution will come out, and I believe that one should count as the comp. I'm not sure if you're hearing from race control, but it's going to be a quickie yellow as well already. Oh no, lights are back on the pace car, so going to have another time to go around here.
Yeah, and I have not heard definitively from race control about the comp caution, but typically just from what we've seen in prior races here in BTDY, if there is a natural caution this close to the comp caution, they will generally go ahead and count that as the competition caution and just not run a couple of laps just to fire them back off again and throw another caution. So we will get them lined back up here. As you can see on the scoring pylon, positions gained and lost to this point. Rob Liedl, currently your biggest mover of the race. He is in 11th position, up 9 spots from where he started. So strong start to the evening for the 80 car. And Chris Samard as well, up 8 places from where he started. So a couple of drivers on the move early on here, as Seth Hatchell, still your race leader, going to be the control car yet again on this restart. And let's hope for a little bit cleaner restart this time.
Yeah, I tell you, Daniel, there's a bit of a wrench now thrown into the mix on top of the difficulty of restarting here. There's going to be some dirt potentially on the racetrack in the restart zone or just past it. So, you know, we might see some guys get hooked up all right, and then we'll see if they cleaned off the track nicely here before we go green. But that could be an issue as they go up into the next set of gears in these race cars. But yeah, Seth Hatchell will be the first one to put the hammer down, and we'll see what he's able to do as they work into the restart zone. Pace car is off. The rate machine on the inside waiting, and there he goes. Good jump by him, and appears everybody is able to keep it pointed in the right direction this time, and we're back into turn 1.
Yeah, this time around, everybody able to get rolling. And we are back underway. Seth Hatchell clears for the lead. Adam Cabot slots into second. Braxton DeWeese still hanging right there in the 3rd position. Eric Hutton now trying to make a move for the 4th place. He and Angelo Ronas battling for that position. Side by side, and it looks like Hutton is going to be able to come out ahead of that battle. Hutton actually now taking a look to the inside of Braxton DeWeese, trying to get the number 3 position away. And makes a power move to the inside, able to take that, and another driver creeping into the picture here. First time we've really called his name so far. It's Bailey Turner in that 24 car. He's worked his way up to the number 6 position now, starting to put some pressure on Ronas for the top 5.
Yeah, not a surprise to see Bailey working his way up into the picture. It's you know, it's a little tough to come from behind here in this league. So competitive and such a tight field. But Bailey, one of those guys, we've seen him work through the pack multiple times in the past to get victories, and he's also really good at strategy, which is probably going to be a bit of a factor here tonight, as he, just outside the top 5 there, chasing down his teammate Angelo Ronas. And behind them, it's Ray Massey and James Loveland going side by side.
Yeah, another good side-by-side battle there. Loveland up on the high lane, trying to maintain that position. Ray Massey on the bottom. Here comes Keith Mayato. He's sneaking into the picture here as well, with those 2 drivers side by side, allowing that 36 to close right in on this battle for position. Just nowhere for Keith Mayato to go to this point. It's kind of stuck until these 2 drivers are able to sort it out. Does have a good run down the back straightaway, working with the 0-2 of Loveland, working with one of his teammates there, but until they get it sorted out, he's just kind of stuck where he's at right now.
Yeah, it's tough to make up ground as well when they're side by side, because you're kind of stuck in that wake of air. You could see as they went down into turn 1 the last time, the nose just kind of got out from underneath and shot up the racetrack just a little, and that cost him some ground. And you could see each time just kind of drifting up a little higher than the cars in front of him, trying to get some clean air where he can. And this time right on the back bumper of Ray Massey. Good draft down the backstretch. But that's the difficulty of these Gen 7 machines, especially on a bumpy racetrack. you're trying to get sucked to the ground. You might not catch the track the right way, and then you've also got your competition around you controlling the air.
Yeah, that was from the race that I had just run here about a week ago. That definitely seemed to be the biggest factor in the race was clean air. Of course, if you had fresher tires or you'd saved your tires better, that does play a huge role here as well. But even at a little bit of a tire deficit, if you're able to kind of aero block or even just kind of do like what Ray Massey is doing right now, run that higher groove, keep your momentum up, it's just so hard for that other car behind you to pass. And now you can even kind of see the same thing that happened that allowed Mayato to catch up to that battle is now happening with the 5 of Alan Dice. He is starting to close in slowly but surely on this battle between Massey and Mayato. So it's just, you've got to get it sorted out as quickly as you can. The longer that you stay running side by side like that, it's really just slowing both drivers down.
Yeah, it's slowing them down. It's bringing everyone up closer to you, and then it's going to be even tougher as they get into battling with you. And Keith not able to complete the pass on Ray Massey. Alan Dice, good start to this one, up 7 positions in the top 10. A really good race going for him. We did see a battle a moment before. It was Chris Simard was down low on the racetrack, and Dennis Faircloth was able to get around him. So Dennis marching back up through. He's already up 9 positions from where he started, and even with the pit lane miscue there, in a good spot.
Yeah, I think if we were giving out an award for passing the most cars, I think Dennis Faircloth has it right now. Started in the back, worked his way up, and had that pit road miscue, went to the back again, and now all the way back up to that 12th position. So he's had a roller coaster, and we're only 26 laps into the event so far. And another driver that's had a bit of a roller coaster so far is the driver directly ahead of him, and that is Jake Maki in that 13 car. Oh, no! Hang on to it, Jake. He is not able to, into the wall. Oh, my gosh. And, you know, Adam, I don't even think I'm going to say it. I'm not even going to bring it up this time. It's literally as soon as I said his name.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be said. I think it's more than obvious this time. Oh my goodness, Dennis Faircloth nearly got caught up in that too. That would have been disaster. It would have been a 2-for-1 with the commentator first.
Yeah, it really would have been. I'm just kind of at a loss for words on that. Maki just gets loose there off of the exit of 4, which is something that we've seen a few times here this evening. He did a nice job of locking it down at first there, and I mean, he did everything he could to hang on to it. You can see just how much the car is bouncing around going over those bumps. And the one thing with the next gen is just so hard to save when it starts to spin out like that. Maki comes back up onto the track, heavy contact to the front of that car, and he has already made his way back down to the pit lane, I believe, or getting ready to actually bring it back down to pit lane, but pretty substantial damage to the right front of that machine.
Yeah, I was actually looking at his steering input there, and he didn't turn to the right too hard for too long. Actually, when it started to hook back to the right, his wheels were pointed back to the left. It's this different steering system in these Gen 7 machines versus the other generations of race car. It just is slower to respond. Even if you're responding at the same rate you would in those other cars, the car itself isn't likely to respond as quickly. So you might get these delayed kind of snaps back to the other direction, and that's what we just saw happen right there. And so it looks like Seth Hatchell is going to bring it down pit road. He'll bring a few other drivers. This is just 10 laps past when the original comp caution was supposed to be.
Yeah, kind of an interesting strategy call here. Seth Hatchell, Jeremiah Vincent, they are both on pit road. Keith Mayato, Bradley Cooper, Cody Maurer, who does have a little bit of damage. Rob Liedl has come down pit road as well. And most of these drivers electing to take tires. I mean, Bradley Cooper and Rob Liedl looks like they did fuel only on this stop, which this would put them pretty close to the window to make it a one more stop to the end. We had said 50 laps, but with the tire fall off, if we got a full run in, and plus with this caution, I believe they would probably be able to stretch it to make it on one stop from here. But even with the way that the tires wear out and fall off here, I'm kind of surprised to see drivers burning a second set of tires this early.
Yeah, it's a bit unusual. They've only got a handful left to go over 100 laps. Um, it's an interesting call, and maybe they expect it to go green. These have been kind of, more fluky situations that have been coming up here with these wrecks. And the field is not, an overly large one here tonight. It's a good sized field, but as drivers kind of get knocked out like that, the chance of cautions coming, one after another becomes less and less. So maybe that's their mentality. They're just hoping to get a nice long green flag run and have the tire advantage over the top 13 drivers.
Well, and even just kind of doing the math here with 6 total sets of tires, you're only having to run about 24 laps per set of tires if you split it up evenly throughout the race. So I guess it's really not as big of a gamble as I'm thinking it was initially. And like you said, eventually you would have to believe that things are going to level out. You're going to end up having a long green flag run as some drivers maybe retire due to damage or what have you. So maybe not quite as risky as what we initially thought, but now with 18 laps on the tires for the top 9 drivers, now we could see a little bit of a treacherous restart here with just the way that we've seen these play out on fresh tires. So something we're going to have to keep an eye on as they get ready to fire back off here. Adam Cabot, Eric Hutton on the front row, Angela Ronas and Bailey Turner in the second row for this restart. Green flag is back out. And you can already see Eric Hutton with a big tire spin there on that top lane. He is going to lose a handful of spots as they get back rolling here. Turner, DeWeese, Angelo Ronas, they all get around. And Eric Hutton is going to fall back to the 5th position here after that front row restart.
Yeah, and it looked like Ray Massey also spun the tires, and that was on the inside lane. So drivers a bit spread out here early on in this run on this first lap. And Massey in that 8th position, he gets passed by Alan Dice, and now side-by-side battle Dennis Faircloth and Chris Samard. These two were doing battle just before we had the yellow flag. But Dennis Faircloth committed to that top side, and he is pushing that race car. Has a slight tire advantage over the rest of the drivers in front of him. So trying to use that the best he can to gain as many spots as he can. And right now looks to the inside of the 23, and another driver who was up there at the front of the field, Seth Hatchell, with his teammate Keith Mayato. They're trying to work their way forward on very fresh Goodyear Eagles.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to be curious to watch here, is just how fast that 8 car can get back up through the field. Of course, dirty air, lap traffic is going to play a part in this as well, but he certainly has the tire advantage. The only thing is, even with the tire advantage, he can't really go out and just burn it down and turn qualifying laps. He's still got to be patient here. He's naturally going to have more pace in the car as a result of those fresher tires. As you can see, he's basically making these guys look like they are standing still right now. Last time by, Seth Hatchell running a 31.16. Your race leader, Adam Cabot, ran a 31.38. So even back here in lap traffic, with trying to navigate that dirty air, still running 0.2 of a second faster than your race leader, and just really making it look easy right now.
Yeah, committed to that top side. Nobody else really going up there right now. And, as soon as I say that, Alan Dice jumps right up in front of them, trying to take the clean air away from them, but it's not going to work entirely, as here comes Hatchell now looking to the inside. This will be for the 7th position, so already up a bunch of spots. I believe about 10 or 12 spots since they restarted. And he's going to clear easily there in turns 1 and 2. Up further, we've got Braxton DeWeese down low side by side with Angelo Ronas. And Braxton started up here in 2nd, running in the top 5, has had a good start to this season as well. And looking to continue that here, top 5 run so far.
Yeah, he was a driver last season with the ARCA car that he showed his speed every single week. Of course, this next-gen car, completely different beast than what we had last season with the ARCA car, but proving that he has speed no matter what vehicle he is driving, and just quietly stringing together some solid results here to start the season, which is really what you want to do. I mean, everybody wants to have an Adam Cabot start to the season where you can come out and get 2 wins in the first 3 races and just establish just pure dominance early on, really. But if you're going to do it any other way, the way Braxton DeWeese has started, just not ruffling any feathers, keeping his nose clean, still getting those solid finishes, that's another great way to do it. But right now, he is getting ready to yield that top 5 position to the 8 of Seth Hatchell. Makes quick work of Braxton DeWeese. He's going to go to work on Angelo Ronis now. Seth Hatchell is on the move. He is currently running about 3/10 faster than your race leader per lap. And the further he gets up through the field with that cleaner air, he is going to just increase that per lap advantage.
Yeah, the next driver on fresh tires is Keith Mayato. He's back in 8th, so not making quite as much progress as his teammate, but might be trying to conserve some tire as he now looks to the inside of Loveland back there for 7th. But Seth Hatchell continuing to run the top side, and nobody is getting in his way as he gets up here towards the podium positions. He's going to go to the outside of Bailey Turner, no contest whatsoever. He'll take over 3rd, and then it's Eric Hutton and Adam Cabot in clear sight to the front of this field as we're approaching lap number 40. Looks like Seth Hatchell about to get back up there to the top step, and Mayato moving to the inside of Angelo Ronis, not able to get the run that time off turn 2. Braxton DeWeese will fall another spot, and Alan Dice, Ray Massey rounding out your top 10. Both good runs there for those drivers.
And now Keith Mayato going to take a look to the top side, try to get that pass completed. And he is to the outside of that 22 of Angelo Ronis. Going to be able to carry that momentum down the front straightaway. Looks like he should be able to complete the pass over here in turns 1 and 2. We'll see if he carries enough momentum to get up around Bailey Turner. Seth Hatchell has kind of stalled out here. He's behind the 88 of Eric Hutton. Hutton and Adam Cabot have both kind of moved up the racetrack just a little bit here, kind of taking that preferred groove away from Seth Hatchell, and he hasn't been able to get quite as far up as it looked like. Maybe a small connection issue there for Adam Cabot just momentarily, and they're going to be 3 wide for the race lead. Of course, as soon as I say his progress is stalled, Seth Hatchell takes advantage, goes to the bottom 3 wide, and he has got his car back up to the top of the pylon.
Yeah, big power move there. I believe Cabot got loose. Let's take a look back at the exit of turn number 4 as Cabot up there on the top side just hopped the seam a little bit. The car gets out from underneath him, and then Hutton, with a little connection issue, had to check up for the slowing number 17, and Hatchell took advantage, went to the bottom. Great move there to take over the top spot. As we go back live now to see, he is still committed to the top side, and we'll see how he can stretch his legs here now with completely clean air.
Yeah, now that he's got himself to the top of the board and he's got that clean air, I think if you're Seth Hatchell, you really just got to pace here. If it goes green, you're probably thinking about one-stopping the rest of the way. I mean, depending on how far he can stretch his lead, he could potentially just cover whatever his competition is doing. But now that he's got himself back up where he was at before, it's really just a matter of pace yourself, try to conserve a little bit if you can. You don't necessarily need to stretch out that 5 or 6 second lead. Just kind of keep it to where it's a comfortable gap to the cars behind you. As there is a spin a little bit further back, but it's off track. I don't think it's going to yield a caution. It's the 83 of Dennis Faircloth, the 3 of Jeremiah Vincent involved as well. They both spin down off the racing surface, and we are going to stay green. We take a quick look on the replay here, and yeah, that was just another example of that loose on corner exit like we've seen quite a few times here this evening. Jeremiah Vincent, nowhere he could go, just wrong place, wrong time there as he gets collected with the spin by Dennis Faircloth. Take one more quick look at it here. Yeah, just car starts to step out on the 83 of Dennis Faircloth, spins down into the 3 of Jeremiah Vincent. Both drivers get a little bit of damage out of that, although it looks like the 83 of Faircloth does come out worse on that end with a little bit harder hit to the wall. Both drivers still rolling, though, and back up front here, taking a look at a battle for second still going on between Adam Cabot and Keith Mayato.
Yeah, Mayato got to the inside of the number 17, not able to complete the pass that time, but still has that tire advantage. It seems to be leveling out just a little bit as Seth Hatchell has gotten about a half second ahead, hasn't been able to pull much further away. And back a little bit further, Braxton DeWeese, James Loveland, Angelo Ronis, all of these drivers fighting for position, all on equal tires. And Loveland making some good headway up there on the top side. It looks like he might have a shot to get around the double zero. As they get into turn number 3, he will carry the momentum on the top side. Angelo Ronas, though, right in front of him. Just like we said, he's got to check up just a little bit there, get the car back underneath him, and DeWee's able to defend for the moment. But all types of different lanes and strategies going on here up at the front, and it's been exciting so far.
Yeah, there's definitely a multitude of lines that these drivers can run. It seems like that top groove is a little bit faster in these next gens. I don't know necessarily if it burns the tires up more like it does in some of the other vehicles here. I know typically if you're in like the Xfinity or the truck, it'll burn it up a little bit more running that top groove, but something to keep an eye on as we get into the later stages of this run. But battle for second still going on here. Adam Cabot, despite that tire deficit that he's at, is doing a really nice job of hanging on to track position here. Keith Mayato does have fresher tires by about 15 laps. As all you can see, Dennis Faircloth, the night going from bad to worse for him. Another big slide on the corner exit of turn number 2. Believe that may actually trigger him to come down pit lane here to the attention of his crew, put some fresh tires on that car. He definitely was still struggling with grip after he had that earlier slide. Was trying to hang on to it and trying to just log some more laps, but as it stands, looks like he's actually still out on the track just trying to get in that pit window.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Yeah, if that's what's going on, maybe he's got something bent and the car is really not handling very well. Struggling now that he slid a couple of times as Keith Mayato has the nose in front for second. He got loose last time around it. He got distracted by Dennis going for the big slide there, but Keith also got really loose down here out of turn number 2, and that's why he could not complete the pass on the 17. This time, Cabot's the one who's loose, and he's in the wall.
Oh, but he's able to at least keep it going in the right direction, so able to maintain for now, but you can see visually there is some damage on the front of that car. The right front is scuffed up pretty good on there. Not sure if he's got any aero damage or not, but certainly visually he's at least got something on that car after that hit to the wall. So these drivers have got to be getting ready for that pit stop. The ones that did not pit on the last caution, they are currently 39 laps in on this run. So potentially in the next 10 laps or so, we're going to start seeing some green flag pit stops here.
Yeah, and this could work out really well for Seth Hatchell and Keith Mayato. It's exactly how they wanted it to go. They've now gotten clear of the rest of the drivers and have gotten to the front of the field. Like you said, pit window going to be opening up here very soon as we got a big checkup from Eric Hutton. Maybe the same situation, just gotten loose off corner exit, and that's going to allow Bailey Turner, Braxton DeWeese both to go on by, and might even open up an opportunity for James Loveland to gain another position as he continues to march forward after the start of this race. But yeah, a lot of drivers struggling with the handling here. I mean, 40 laps at Atlanta, that is a long run by all accounts.
That is indeed a long run here at Atlanta. That is you're screaming for tires. And think about it just for a second. This is only with 80% fuel. They run slightly reduced fuel here in BTDY. If we were running full fuel, you're potentially running 60, 70 laps, maybe even a little bit longer if you try to go the whole way. That, I'm not gonna lie, Adam, that just kind of sounds like torture. 70 laps with the track temp, what it is here at this place, with as abrasive as it is, that just doesn't sound like a fun time to me.
I mean, it might be fun if you like loose race cars or like hanging onto your tires, but yeah, it's not going to be as fast, that is for sure. As Samard, Massey, and Adkins all battling here just at the back of the top 10, just outside the top 10. Dallas Sullivan also recovering from his pit road mistake there, having taken just 2 tires and had to come back down. He's now just back up to 12th, battling to try and get back in the top 10. And a few cars behind, we got Bradley Cooper, who's on his way to trying to recover. Rob Liedl, Cody Maurer is slow, and we've got a yellow.
We do indeed have a yellow flag out. I believe that was triggered by the 18 of Cody Maurer. So lap number 55. Actually, no, I beg your pardon. That is the 52 of Jake Miller that actually triggers the caution here. Spins down to the inside, big contact to the front of that car into the outside wall. And that is going to put us under caution here. And okay, that is where the 18 went down on the apron to avoid the 52 of Jake Miller. So beg your pardon on that. That was not triggered by the 18 there, but big damage to the front of that 52 car after that hit to the wall.
Yeah, definitely big damage there. And this is going to save all those drivers who were just about to start the pit window here. So Adam Cabot, Bailey Turner, very thankful, I'm sure, for that yellow flag coming out. Otherwise, they would have been potentially at a real deficit to Mayato and Hatchell. And I was also noticing Keith Mayato was starting to close the distance to Seth Hatchell. So keep an eye on that 36 machine to be good on the long run. He often is. And looked like he was starting to close the distance there.
Yeah, absolutely. But I got to say, I was really looking forward to green flag pit stops. Yeah. This track is not easy to get onto pit road under green or even to exit pit road under green. If we kind of watch how Seth Hatchell goes around here, you can see on the apron there's just a little bit of banking that he actually just put the car onto. So if you're trying to maximize time under a green flag pit stop, you've got to run basically that little half lane that's right there that Seth Hatchell is currently on. And when you do that, you can carry a lot of speed, but it's also easy to get a blend line violation if you just step over that white line before you get to the back straightaway. So I was kind of looking forward to that, but still not out of the equation. These drivers are going to have at least one more pit stop to make before the end of this race. So still got the possibility that we may see that here come into play a little later on.
Yeah, definitely very possible for these drivers. Going to be right there towards the end of the pit window to make it to the end of this race on one more stop. And yeah, going to be interesting to see who preserves their tires the best. And if we do get another yellow flag to kind of break things up even more. We've had 4 cautions here, 3 total lead changes. A couple of those cautions coming in quick order, one on a restart right after another yellow flag, and then just a couple laps later. Right, we had kind of a good run of them there, but then nice long green flag run for these guys, and hopefully we can get more of that.
Absolutely, and this series is definitely known for those long green flag runs, so it would not surprise me in the slightest to see that. So we're working caution number 4 here of the evening, and I hate to sound like a broken record to an extent, but we've already seen how treacherous the restarts are. Fresh tires, old tires, does not matter. So let's see how these drivers navigate this. They've had a couple of shots at it to kind of know what to expect, know maybe where their tires start to break loose in the power band of the car. So let's see who is able to maximize that here and possibly try to gain some spots on this restart. Field in control, Seth Hatchell, Adam Cabot, your top 2. The front row there, a green flag back out in the air. Pretty orderly restart this time by. Looks like the driver's kind of getting the hang of it, what to expect with that tire spin. Everybody stays formed up a little bit better this time. Battle for second is on between Cabot and Turner. They are side by side as they exit turn 2.
Yeah, a little bobble there from the 17. Looked like maybe it could have been closer than Bailey would have liked. But here goes Cabot now to the inside, going to try the low line as Hatchell goes all the way to the wall. And it looks like the 17 should be able to clear on exit. So nice run there for the 17 of Adam Cabot. He'll take the lead at the line. But here comes Hatchell with the crossover back into turn number 1.
We'll see if Hatchell is able to complete the pass down on the bottom with that crossover. Like you mentioned, Cabot carrying the momentum up on the top side. They're still side by side. Seth Hatchell does slot in, and the top 3 tried to do a little triple tandem draft. That's not something you normally see here at Atlanta, at least not this version of it. All bumper to bumper, and that's going to put Bailey Turner now side by side for the 2nd position. Turner has it at the line. See if Hatchell is able to utilize that high groove. He's been working that top side better than pretty much anybody here so far this evening. But Bailey Turner on the bottom is going to be able to take the number 2 position. and slot in behind his teammate a little further back. There's a 4-car battle going on for position just at the back part of the top 10 here. You've got James Loveland, Braxton DeWeese, also got Eric Hutton, Ray Massey, all involved in this battle.
Yeah.
Starting to sort out just a little bit here.
Yeah, a lot of space between this field. I mean, Bradley Cooper up here in the 10th position now. Cody Adkins behind him. I'm not sure. I think we may have missed a small incident here, you know, at the start of this run further back in the field that kind of spread things out. But we're down to just 16 cars on the lead lap. Jake Miller, the last of them, and he's got heavy damage. So going to be interesting to see if we get any more yellows. It's a pretty spread out field now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of that too just has to do with how hesitant you have to be on these restarts as well. Just you can't go full bore like you normally would through that restart zone coming up through the gears. And that has a tendency, the further back you get, it'll kind of spread things out just a little bit more. As Keith Mayato taking a look to the inside here of Bailey Turner for that final podium position. Seth Hatchell was able to get back around for the number 2 spot. Angelo Ronis now creeping up into this battle as well. All 3 of those drivers under a blanket together for that number 3 position. Bailey Turner up to the top side. He is able to hang on to it for now.
Yeah, this is a similar situation for Mayato that Bailey Turner just went through. So Hatchell got to the 24s outside, was able to carry that momentum. Bailey had to lift a little on exit, and that's what put him you know, in harm's way there for the 36 to try and make the move on him, and that didn't work out. So you've got to be very confident that you're going to be able to complete the pass when you go to make the move on the inside at this point in the run, as it looks like 22 of Angelo Ronis carrying the momentum on the top should be able to clear the 36, and he will, to move him into the 4th spot.
Yeah, Angelo Ronis, really solid night for him. We haven't called his name a ton here so far this evening, but he's been hanging right around that 5th, 6th position, right there at the back part of the top 5. I mean, just minding his manners, keeping the car clean. Just a solid night, a quiet night, but a solid night nonetheless for the driver of the 22. And sometimes that's just really all you need to do. Just keep the car clean and be there to take advantage if any of your competition makes a mistake. As directly behind him, battle is starting to heat up for the 5th position between Keith Mayato and Eric Hutton. Hutton had actually gotten really close to the quarter panel of the 36, but not quite able to draw alongside as of yet to try to take that position away.
Yeah, I think Mayato got really aero tight there in turns 1 and 2, kind of shot up the racetrack and cost him a lot of center speed on this end of the track, as we've got a car blinking there. That looked like Rob Liedl with some connection problems right in the middle of all of these leaders, so hopefully that doesn't cause any problems. But Mayato able to get the car back underneath him, and he's now closed back in on Angelo Ronis, just about a car length and a half, 2 car lengths, but now running completely different lanes here in 3 and 4. And here is Seth Hatchell working to the inside of our race leader.
Yeah, Seth Hatchell has caught Adam Cabot and is putting the pressure on for the race lead. I just don't know how easy it will be to complete this pass down on the bottom side of the racetrack. I think he's going to have to almost try to hope for a mistake like we saw out of Adam Cabot the last time these two were battling for the lead. It's just so hard to complete that move, but also you get kind of forced to go down there because you do need to try to keep as much clean air as possible on the front of that car. And as he closed back in, Adam Cabot starting to stretch that lead just a little bit. He was about a 10th faster than Seth Hatchell that last lap, so kind of stabilized for now. But Angelo Ronis, he has ventured up to the top side of the racetrack, gets into the wall just a little bit there, trying to find a way around Bailey Turner, but that's actually going to allow Mayato and Hutton to get by. So a little mistake there out of the 22, and it's going to cost him a couple of spots.
Yeah, ventured just a little bit too high there at the top of the racetrack, and not too hard a contact, but definitely anytime you break your momentum, you know, it's going to cost you something, and this time it cost him a couple of spots. Behind him, Loveland and DeWeese, good battle going on here, 7th and 8th. Yeah, really our top 9 drivers all separated by just under a second and a half, so that is really cool to see how tight this field is this far into this run already. And then Cody Adkins trying to close in from a ways back. He's running really good laps here, actually about a 10th and a half of a second faster than our race leader. He's got nice clean air. Chris Samard behind him in the same situation. Those guys trying to close up, and that time lap time's a little bit closer. But Adam Cabot out here in front under heavy pressure as Hatchell's still looking for a way around.
Yeah, really solid run for quite a few drivers. A lot of good racing going on here as Cody Atkins gets around the 0-2 of James Loveland. Looked like Loveland had a bit of a moment there off of turn number 2. Lost just a little bit of ground. Think this may be another case of the loose on exit. And man, what a save. I did not see just how big that slide was at first. And that's a save that you do not typically make in the next gen with as long as that car was sliding for. And I mean, that is a phenomenal job out of the 0-2 to hang on to it there. And also, Adam, one quick bit of housekeeping. We had talked about Alan Dyson, the 5 car, running up near the top 10 for the majority of the evening. A connection issue and internet outage has actually ended his night early here. So unfortunate for the driver of the 5, as he was having a really solid run up to that point as well.
Yeah, definitely an unfortunate way for your race to end, but got to be encouraging to see his performance, to that point in the race, and looking forward to, other races this season, as we've got a 3-car battle for the race lead. These guys have separated themselves by about a half second over Keith Mayato and Hatchell right in the tire tracks of Adam Cabot that time, and Bailey Turner trying to work the inside, which has been difficult to use to make passes, but he's stuck to it, and Hatchell continues to run that top side. He's got a good run here.
Seth Hatchell, he's got a lot of speed in that 8 car. Touches the wall just a little bit there. That's going to let Bailey Turner to the inside, and he's going to slot up in front of the 8. Chooses to go back down to the bottom. Adam Cabot, if you're him, which driver do you try to hold off? It looks like both of those cars are a little bit faster than him right now. As Hatchell into the wall just a little bit off of turn number 4. But if you're Adam Cabot, who do you try to hold off? I mean, they're both starting to put the pressure on, and the more that these top 3 battle, it's also allowing Keith Mayato now to close in, as he was over 1/10 of a second faster than any of our top 3 the last lap.
Yeah, Mayato was really good on the long run the last time before the yellow flag, and that may be the case again here, just holding back about 5% or so and letting these guys race hard up here at the front, letting Cabot burn his stuff up as he's done a little bit in the first few races of the season. Gotten lucky with some caution breaks falling the way that they did, and him able to get the victories, but we've seen at times he's been a little bit abusive, and that seems to be the case here. Starting to see the back end slip and slide, and Mayato definitely closing up on these 3.
Yeah, Keith Mayato is getting ready to turn this into a 4-horse battle up at the front for the overall race lead. You can see from his onboard here that side-by-side between 2nd and 3rd place between Hatchell and Turner. It's just allowing him to close right up, and he is there. This is a 4-car battle for the lead. Adam Cabot living on the edge up there, running the Larson line, hanging the right rear right up against the wall, and still able to make some pretty good time. But, I mean, he makes one mistake, he's potentially falling all the way back to 4th place right now.
Yeah, this is really cool to watch, though. All these guys running slightly different lanes. You see Cabot that time tight on exit. Look at Bailey Turner just squeeze in between the VSPEED teammates there. Just trying to slow the momentum of the 36 enough to hold him off down into turn number 1. And Hatchell again committed to the top side, able to come down to that that top seam. He's going to have a nice head of steam here coming out of turn number 2. Might have a shot at the run down into turn 3 as Cabot dives to the inside. Hatchell still running up there in the top groove.
Yeah, Seth Hatchell is absolutely committed to that top lane, and I like what he's doing. He's trying to turn down a little bit early on the center of the turn to keep some clean air on the front of that car. He has got the momentum. We'll see if he drives it in and maybe tries a slide job here on the 17. He's clear. Is he going to clear up in front of him? He does clear up in front. The 17 makes a little bit of contact with the wall, but Seth Hatchell now back to the point. Is Adam Cabot going to throw the slider back on him? Not quite close enough. Seth Hatchell playing defense with that top groove. He's right in front of Cabot. They're looking 3 wide for the lead off of 4.
Yeah, Hatchell got the clean air, and it changed the handling of his race car. Got really loose there on the top side. And this time here, he's going to run to the top, but it's Bailey Turner who's got the advantage now on the inside. And Hatchell, good run once again. Gonna have to pull the same exact move he just did last time on the number 17, and now goes to the top. Turner on the bottom, and that's the thing about running the top side. You're burning your stuff up really fast up there, and Hatchell is starting to feel it. And there is Cabot further back. You could see his right rear probably shredded on that thing, and he is all the way back now, losing spots to Eric Hutton. Cabot falls to 7th.
Yeah, and a new player up here in the top 4 as well, Braxton DeWeese. We talked about him just kind of being quiet, just taking his time, being patient. He is caught right up to this lead pack. It was momentarily a 5-car battle for the lead. It's now faded to 4 with Adam Cabot dropping back just a little bit here, but they are looking 3 wide for the number 2 position. That's Maiano in the middle, DeWeese on the bottom, Hatchell up top. They're also closing in on a lap car here. That is the 13 of Jake Monkey. He's just trying to find a way to stay out of the way of these leaders. Still looking 3 wide, back down to 2 as they have cleared the lap car, but Maiano now up to the 2nd position. Braxton DeWeese just still being patient and just kind of running his own line, trying to keep the clean air on the front of that car. And he has done a nice job of bringing himself back up into this battle for the win.
He's running the middle lane with something we have not seen from many other drivers. So interesting way to maybe preserve a little more tire than those guys running the very top, but maybe keep a little more momentum than running the very bottom. I've not really seen that line used all that much here at Atlanta. Usually it's kind of top or bottom, but obviously finding some running room there, and it's working for the moment, trying to complete that pass on the number 8.
Yeah, for the time being, it is really working out for him. Big moment for the 24 of Turner. He hangs on to it, but he is going to lose a few positions after that. He drops all the way back to the 6th position. Let's take another look here at what happened to him on the VSPEED instant replay. Oh, my gosh, what a save. That is another one of those, you don't typically hang on to that in the next gen kind of saves. But Bailey Turner finds a way to do it. I mean, I know it may not necessarily look like much to those that are watching at home, but Adam, I'm sure you'll speak to this as well. These next-gen cars, if they start to get sideways in the slightest, they're almost impossible to hang on to.
Yeah, it's really, really hard. I mean, this car is dead in the water right there, but he is able to slow it up just enough.
And Braxton DeWeese just had a similar moment off of turn number 2. He was absolutely sideways as well. He's now back to the 7th position. Wow, these drivers are really starting to struggle for grip. This is a replay of what happened to the 00. Just that momentary bobble and another big slide off of turn number 2 for another driver here this evening. But able to hang on to it.
Yeah, and that leaves Keith Maiano out front now, and Seth Hatchell back up to 2nd after all of that. How about Eric Hutton? He's been able to climb up to 3rd, and Adam Cabot maintaining in the top 5. Bailey Turner able to recover to 5th after his moment. Ray Massey here, Braxton DeWeese, Angelo Ronas, Cody Adkins has been able to maintain in the top 10, as well as Chris Samard. Then it's Loveland and Bradley Cooper a bit further back, but still pretty tight amongst our top 11, under 3 seconds separating all of those drivers. And Keith Maiano is starting to stretch his legs now in that clean air, and we've got cloud cover also maybe helping.
Yeah, some of these drivers are probably thanking somebody for a little bit of cloud cover here. No, we had a pretty toasty track temp to start tonight. It was about 129 degrees. Currently down to 121, so still a warm one out there, but a little bit more favorable for these drivers as the race is continuing to progress. And talking about some of these big slides that we've seen out of these drivers, one of the biggest things with this next gen and the tire model that it has isn't even necessarily the tire wear, it's the tire temperature. You get a little bit of heat in the tires, you get them angry at you, and it just takes so long to get the tires cooled off to where you can go back and attack. That's another thing that these drivers are going to be fighting. As you can see, the 02 of James Loveland has hit pit lane. This is a little bit early to be necessarily a scheduled stop. Only 30 laps in on this run.
I think it's for damage, possibly.
It very well could be for damage. I think you may be onto something here.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I would say you are 100% correct on that one, Adam. That is a massive hit to the front of the O2. Good catch on that. I did not see that at first. And yeah, that is a huge hit for that car.
I was seeing his right front wheel about a foot too far back in the wheel well, so I wasn't sure if it was his steering angle or something like that, but it looked a little bit off to me, so it seemed like it was some contact there. It definitely was. And Keith Mayato's lead starting to shrink a little bit now at the front of the field. It's down to just about 5 or 6 car lengths as we've got Hutton putting pressure on Hatchell for second, Cabot, Turner all closing back in to under a second.
Yeah, slowly but surely starting to catch him, although the last time around, it looks like it did stabilize just a little bit. Keith Mayato ran a 32.18 compared to 32.20 and 32.12 for Seth Hatchell and Eric Hutton. So pretty even on lap times between them, maybe just a momentary bobble out of Keith Mayato. I mean, we've certainly seen that from pretty much everybody on the field here this evening at some point. And right on cue, Eric Hutton saying, yeah, you mean kind of like this with the little wiggle off of turn number 4? Yeah, it's almost like he was listening to me there.
He probably was, as Mayato also had a big bobble at that time, kind of had a good run, and then you could see the car starts walking its way down the racetrack and then, starts to slip out from underneath him. Able to hang on to it, though, and keep the momentum up as much as possible. And here comes Braxton DeWeese, big run to the inside of Ray Massey. And that's going to be an interesting move at that point in the turn. Not going to be able to complete the pass. He'll stay side by side in the 17 and 24 in front of them, side by side. And then behind, Cody Adkins and Chris Samard side by side.
Yeah, and 3 drivers that we saw with those massive slides, Turner, Cabot, and DeWeese, all of them at some point were sideways, struggling for grip. Done a really nice job of getting the tires cooled back off, giving them a chance to heat cycle just a little bit, get some grip back in them, and now going on the attack yet again. Braxton DeWeese there working to the inside of the 23 of Ray Massey. Just, again, you get this deep into the run. We're 37 laps into this run. It is just so difficult to be able to try to complete those passes on the bottom. You've really got to be sure of it. You've kind of got to pull a little bit of a slide job to be able to finish it off. And some of these drivers just, to this point, not quite willing to risk the daring moves as of yet. But now Braxton DeWeese going to try a different strategy here. Going to go to the top side. We'll see if he can maybe use the 18 of Cody Maurer as a pick. Not quite. Maurer does a nice job getting out of the way there, but Braxton DeWeese now with the preferred line over Ray Massey. See if he can complete this pass. It's the first time we've really seen the 00 up on that high lane tonight.
Yeah, he's been bottom feeder, kind of middle lane, right? We were talking about that just a moment ago, and able to complete the pass that time, as Massey had actually kind of pulled a slide job of his own and did not complete it, and that cost him a lot of momentum, allowed the 00 to get back on the outside and complete that pass. And Bailey Turner back up to third now. He's putting pressure on Seth Hatchell, so nice recovery after his huge moment about 10-15 laps ago now, and he's closing in on the number 8 machine, who's dominated this race to an extent.
Yeah, Bailey Turner actually the fastest car on track that last time around. About 1/10 faster than our race leader and about 3/10 faster than second place Seth Hatchell. And he has a little wiggle there off the exit of turn number 4 as Braxton DeWeese taking a trip through the infield grass there, able to hang on to it. What a save. Chris Samard comes up on him, able to avoid him. Wow, that could have been a massive moment there, but Braxton DeWeese able to hang on to it. And it looks like we are actually going to go ahead and kick off green flag pit stops here. That is the 23 of Ray Massey. This is in the window to make it to the end of the race. So I don't necessarily think that this is for damage or anything of that nature. I think this is a scheduled stop.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this is
definitely scheduled.
This is absolutely scheduled here. So we are just over 40 laps to go. It puts them squarely in that window. And here you can see, kind of like we were talking about on that last caution, he was using that little bit of banking there on the apron to try to make some good time on pit exit. And I'll be curious to see now that Ray Massey has kind of opened the pit cycle here, who's going to be the next driver to follow. You know that there's always that one driver that kicks off the pit cycle early, tries a big undercut, which I think could potentially work here if it goes green. We've seen how important that track position is. But you also know there's going to be one driver that plays it long, hoping for the caution, as Michael Jones almost brings out that caution. He spins off the racing surface, so we stay green. But Jones with a massive slide, and oh my gosh, I don't know how this didn't yield a caution, to be completely honest. I mean, he was backwards at one point on the racing surface, so a little bit surprising there that iRacing didn't throw that one.
Yeah, I mean, he was out of control the entire backstretch of the racetrack, and a car was closing in on him. That was Jake Miller closing up. And yeah, usually that will trigger the yellow flag, but not the case in that instance. And just taking a look at lap times here, Ray Massey was back on the racetrack, one lap down, ran a 31 flat, as well as I think he's the only one actually on fresh tires. So Keith Maioto ran a 32.44 that time, so about a second and a half slower. So Ray Massey's going to be closing in. He may just leapfrog the rest of the leaders here, as Keith Maioto, big moment off two, and the battle for second is raging. All kinds of things happening right now at lap 100.
Absolutely, and Ray Massey is just praying that this goes green and cycles out, because it will almost certainly put him in the race lead if it does indeed run green. There's a little bit of contact to the wall there for Seth Hatchell. This battle for second heating up. Got Hatchell, Turner, and Hutton all right there together. But, you know, with the pit strategy, I almost think I would run it long. I think I would try to run this out to the end on fuel if I can. And not because I don't trust the other drivers out there. These cars are just showing how difficult they are to drive. We've seen a couple of massive slides that probably should have been cautions. I think gambling on the caution might be a smart move for somebody here this evening.
Yes, Angelo Ronis has pulled it down pit road, getting service completed there. Nice pit stop for him. Keeping an eye on other drivers. Looks like Bradley Cooper going to pit just after the lap 100 mark. So bringing the number one machine to his crew. And we'll keep an eye on the race leaders if any of these guys are going to try and make a decision here. It looks like Bailey Turner low on the racetrack, but he is going to continue to circulate out there. Nobody else making the move just yet. Maybe Jake Miller. No, he's just off the pace a little with the damage on that car.
Yeah, so far, just taking a look, Ray Massey, Angelo Ronis, and of course Michael Jones after the spin are really the only drivers that have come down pit lane, but all of these drivers have got to be getting close to this point. We've gone 47 laps since the last pit stop. Of course, a couple of caution laps in there, and that's going to help the cause as far as how long do you want to go. But you see just how much faster Ray Massey is. I mean, he is almost at a point where he's a couple of laps away from getting his lap back the old-fashioned way, which is another big thing that he's hoping for, where he doesn't have to take a free pass. If a caution were to come out, he can at least be on equal ground as those that are ahead of him on track right now. But yeah, really, this is Ray Massey's lead to lose if this does indeed go green through this entire pit cycle. He is still currently turning laps that are about a second per lap faster than Keith Maioto. Maioto ran a 32.45 last time by. Massey a 31.64, so about 0.8 faster for Massey that last lap.
Hatchell, we were watching, he made big contact with the outside wall out of turn 4. Adam Cabot, maybe an evasive maneuver there, went down to the bottom of the racetrack. They both lost a lot of momentum, a lot of time there. So that's going to cost them in their challenge for the race lead. But here is Ray Massey going to the inside of Eric Hutton, and then you've got Bailey Turner and Keith Maioto out in front. But, you know, he's going to be well in front of these guys with a tire disadvantage, and I'm looking at lap times. Big slide.
Big wiggle. Is he going to save it? Oh, the 36 of Maioto. He's going to lock it down on the apron. We won't get a caution out of that. But that is a heartbreaker for Keith Maioto, who had been up there battling for the race lead. And I believe, was that also the
Seth
8 of
Hatchell.
Seth Hatchell that was caught up with that as well?
Yeah, taking a look at what happened here to Keith Mayato. I mean, just down on the inside, we've seen this from so many drivers. Long, lazy slide, nearly had it corrected. You can see he's got it pointed the right way for the most part. And then Seth Hatchell, I'm not sure if he has a fuel issue here or what the
Boy,
situation
actually,
is.
just taking a look at the iRacing communications here, Seth Hatchell is actually dropped due to packet loss. So it looks like some sort of connection issue for Seth, unrelated to what actually happened with the incident there. Maybe something that he knew was getting ready to happen, where it was going to kick him from the session, and just decides to pull down to the inside to not jeopardize anybody else's race there. And that is something that big hit for the 55. I will hold that thought. Cody Atkins, massive hit to the outside wall. Caution is going to be out here on lap 108. And that is a game changer here in the middle of the pit cycle, because Eric Hutton had actually come down pit lane. And I'm not sure if he's going to stay on the lead lap or not as we take a look on the replay here. I think this is another case of what we've seen so many times this evening. Atkins just loose on exit, tries to counter steer it. It catches, shoots him right into the outside wall. And that is essentially, that is a night ender here for the 55 of Cody Atkins. And, I mentioned briefly there also that Eric Hutton was on pit road. He is actually showing a black flag at the moment, possibly for speeding on pit lane. But, yeah, that is a huge hit for the 55 there.
Yeah, and nice move by Adam Cabot to get around it, but definitely going to be a tough one to come back from for the 55. He's already taken it to the attention of his crew and trying to get service completed on that race car. But it'll be Bailey Turner now making the pit stop, leading the field down. The rest of the drivers who have not brought it in. So it'll be him, and then Chris Samard inherits second place. A nice job by him to survive all of that chaos that was going on, and able to get up there into the top three. Braxton DeWeese, Adam Cabot, Dallas Sullivan is up in the top five right now. So really shaking up this running order.
Yeah, we only had 9 cars on the lead lap, and I believe that is actually, I beg your pardon, we only had 8 cars on the lead lap, as Bradley Cooper, I believe, is going to have to take the wave around here to get his lap back. So, yeah, I mean, just with the way that these cars were handling it, it's not surprising to see. I mean, we saw so many slides that could have, should have, would have been cautions. We finally get that caution in the middle of the pit cycle. Unfortunate for those that had already come to the attention of their crew. He did have Ray Massey, was able to get his lap back the old-fashioned way there. So despite the green flag cycle not working out for him, he's still not in a bad place here. He's going to be in 5th. He's got Jake Miller behind. Miller does have a little bit of damage from that earlier incident that we saw. To me, the 2 big benefactors of that caution are going to be Chris Samard, who he came on pit road second. He leaves in 4th, still the biggest mover of the race, up 15 spots from where he started. And also Dallas Sullivan, because Sullivan had not yet come down pit lane. And he's still sitting on pit lane. So not sure if maybe there was some sort of other issue or something there for Sullivan. Oh, he's getting some damage fixed. That's I can see that on the front of the car now. He's got a little bit of damage there to the front of it, but Dallas playing the correct move there, hoping for the caution. He's able to get some track position, maybe salvage something out of the night. But yeah, Chris Samard is definitely the biggest benefactor out of this. He gains a ton of track position for that.
Yeah, that is huge for him. Now they'll all have fresh tires. This will be a shorter run than they just did. I mean, it was over 50 laps when we got the yellow flag, and that is as far as you'll really ever want to go here at Atlanta on a set of tires. And yeah, so Bailey Turner, Adam Cabot, Chris Samard, Braxton DeWeese, Ray Massey, Jake Miller, Angelo Ronis, Dallas Sullivan, Bradley Cooper, Keith Mayato on the lead lap, Eric Hutton as well. So Mayato able to close back up after all of that. And so he's actually a big benefactor of that yellow flag, but I'm not sure if he took a wave around. No, he did come down. So he does have fresh tires. Going to restart from 10th, but better than being a whole half a track behind.
Yeah, absolutely. So the field getting ready to go back green here. Bailey Turner and Adam Cabot, your front row. Green flag is out. This one is not quite as orderly of a restart as the last one that we saw, but everybody able to get it rolling here as we are inside of 30 laps to go. Bailey Turner, your leader, Adam Cabot in second. Braxton DeWeese now in the third position, kind of where we've seen him most of the night here, right inside of that top five. Chris Samard and Ray Massey rounding out your top five currently. And the battle is on here. You see Bradley Cooper trying to make a move on Keith Mayato, actually maintain that position rather over Mayato. Mayato trying to fight his way back up through the pack and get that track position back to make a run at the win here this evening. Mayato looking to the outside of Bradley Cooper. Looks like he should be able to complete that move. Oh, as Cooper goes around. Contact between Bradley Cooper and I believe that was the 88 of Eric Hutton. No caution as Cooper is able to spin down to the inside. Not going to trigger an iRacing caution. We stay green, but quick look here on the VSPEED instant replay. They were looking 3 wide and contact between Hutton and Cooper getting the worst of that as he slides down to the inside of the track. Going to make some pretty heavy contact with the back of the car. And he's still in 11th right now, last car on the lead lap, but loses quite a bit of ground in that exchange.
Yeah, and I'm sure the handling of the race car is completely different now. You hate to back it in that hard and mess up the rear spoiler, and the whole rear geometry of the car can be pretty tough, especially when it's as loose and difficult as it's been here tonight already. So it's going to have a tough time here for the next 25 laps. Big move here. Ray Massey goes to the inside. Chris Samard goes to the top side. And Massey trying to get back up there into contention, running in fourth. And this will be interesting to see the rest of the way. Braxton DeWeese was really good on the long run, we had seen. He had closed up a bit on the leaders at one point and gained a lot of track position. And Adam Cabot, Bailey Turner had struggled on the long run. To some extent, although Bailey had gotten back up there and was closing in on Keith Mayato when the 36 went around. So, yeah, this is an interesting one. It is not over by any means.
Absolutely not. The only thing with Braxton DeWeese in that 00 is if this does go green to the end, it is going to be a little bit shorter run than what we had on either of those last two green flag runs. So it seemed like it took him a little bit longer to start making that ground up, kind of like you had mentioned. Is he going to have enough time to utilize that long run pace is going to be the biggest question. But regardless, he's going to be a player in this before the end of it. Currently only 0.7 of a second behind the race leader, Bailey Turner. But he does have Ray Massey and Chris Samard now both starting to close just a little bit. And actually, Massey and Samard getting ready to have a good scrap here for the fourth position. It's Chris Samard putting the pressure on the 23 car.
Yeah, Massey now running the middle lane, which we haven't seen too many drivers do, just Braxton DeWeese really, and able to hold off the content there from the 77 machine. And Angelo Ronis also in the mix up here, top six all within a second and a half, and then you got to go a ways back. How about Jake Miller though? Sticking with it here after getting a lot of damage, running in 7th at the end of this one. It has been a race of attrition, no doubt about that. A lot of it coming there at the end of the last green flag run. And now Dallas Sullivan in 8th, Keith Mayato in the 9th position, still trying to recover. These guys have lost a lot of ground to the race leaders, and Mayato should be able to go around the 46 without much issue here, as Dallas has quite a bit of left front damage.
Yeah, this should be a fairly straightforward pass for both Hutton and Mayato, although Hutton gets into the wall there, trying to get around the 46 of Dallas Sullivan, just a little too high on the racetrack. I have to gather it in and try to go after it yet again here. But Keith Mayato still has pretty good pace in his car, running lap times that are pretty consistent with our race leaders. I mean, within a 0.5 of a second of our race leaders. So if he can get another caution and get caught up, he is not out of this by any stretch. But at this point, with being almost 4 seconds, right at 4 seconds back, he's going to need a little bit of help to get there. But as you had mentioned earlier, Adam, you talked about that long run speed that the 00 has. He is closed in on the back bumper of the 17 of Adam Cabot, and they are both slowly but surely inching their way up to the 24 of Bailey Turner, both about a tenth and a half faster that last time around than the 24. But you just got to wonder, how much is Adam Cabot pushing right now? We've seen it a few times this evening where he pushes too hard early, kind of burns the tires up a little bit. What has he learned from those first few runs that he might be able to utilize here to maybe save those tires a little bit better and be stronger at the end of the run?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just putting the throttle down a little bit later, getting a little bit, going into the corners a little bit slower than you might like, just trying to preserve a little bit more tire early in the run so you have just a tiny bit more at the end of the run. And looks like he had a bit of a moment which also checked up Braxton DeWeese. Those two both lost a bit of time. Braxton now goes all the way to the top side of the racetrack, and then behind them Samard and Massey, who have been battling pretty much since the drop of the green flag here on this last run, still continue to run side by side. That comes to an end though as Ray Massey goes on through to the fourth position. So Massey still trying to get up there. He's got good speed as well. So interesting to see what will happen amongst these three. Now Braxton looks like he's right alongside, or just about alongside, for second place.
And he's going up to that top groove where we haven't seen him venture a whole lot here this evening, utilizing that top lane. He's going to get alongside of Adam Cabot here. This may be the opportunity that he needs. He is actually cleared Cabot already, still running that middle line now as he is clear of the second place, now third place driver of Cabot. Now let's see if he's got anything for Bailey Turner. This is about the point of the run previously where we would start to see DeWeese in that 00 kind of flex his muscle a little bit, kind of show that long run pace. If he's still got it, now is the time to use it, as he is just 3.5 tenths behind the race leader, Bailey Turner. Starting to close just a little bit more. Got it down under 2.5 tenths now.
Yeah, Bailey did not have a great exit off turn number 2. The car, he's pinching it down, trying to, preserve the tire just a little bit more, and it is costing him though, because it can be tough to keep your car pinned low on exit here at Atlanta. The bumps and the way that the banking works, it just upsets the car to try and keep it that low. You'll see it here again. This time he does bring it out to the outside wall, and that's a little bit of a better exit, but still Braxton DeWeese, huge run from the top side, gets right to the back bumper. And he's running that middle lane. Bailey now maybe trying to do a little air blocking from the race lead.
Yeah, I think Bailey Turner is going to have to be looking in his mirror, trying to take away whatever lane it is that Braxton DeWeese wants to run. The 00 showing quite a bit of pace here in the late stages of this race. Bailey Turner, though, staying consistent, running that bottom lane, but here comes a huge run for the 00. He's going to look to the inside of Turner. Going down into turns number 3 and 4. Turner is still there on the outside, not quite clear. They're going to be side by side off of turn number 4. I think if DeWeese is going to do it, he may have to drive it in deep and try to pull the slider on the 24. We'll see if he attempts it over here in 1 and 2. Turner hanging tough on the outside, but the 00 is clear for the lead. Put Braxton DeWeese to number 1 up at the top of the chart, but here comes Turner with the crossover.
Yeah, I think Bailey was expecting that. Braxton sent it in there deep, and now he's got kind of an advantageous position here on the top side. So he'll have the momentum. Got to be able to get clear here off of turn number 4, and he gets a nice run. Bailey comes up, tries to get a little side draft working, and he's still there at the quarter panel, pushing him all the way to the outside wall in turn number 1. Braxton going to send it deep on this end of the racetrack as well. Bailey tried to pull the move. He's trying to slide up in front, not going to be able to.
Not quite clear, and he is going to slot in behind the 00. Braxton DeWeese now clear for the lead. Now he's going to be the one that needs to look in his mirror and try to put some dirty air on the front of that 24 car. Right along on board here with Bailey Turner. Still just 0.2 of a second back, still close enough to take advantage of any mistake that DeWeese may make. And you can see it here. This is the first time that we've seen the 00 out in front. Is he going to aero block, or is he just going to try to run his lane? first time around through 1 and 2 there. He's just kind of running that middle top groove where we've seen him here more recently. Turner still hanging tough on the bottom. He's closing right back in on the 0-0.
Yeah, he sent it in really deep there in 3 and 4. He's going to lose a little bit on exit, but I think the handling characteristics are changing a lot when these guys get the clean air. They're not quite used to it if they've been running in traffic all race long, which Braxton has. I think these are his first laps led, if I'm correct. Yeah, just the first few laps led for the 0-0. So this is, he's not probably too familiar with how it feels on older tires to be out in the lead. I think it's a lot looser than you would expect it to be, and you're used to being a little bit tighter. Is behind him though. Bailey Turner nearly got to the quarter panel, couldn't do it that time, but he is putting heavy pressure on here with less than 10 laps to go.
Yeah, inside of 10 to go. Business is picking up here at the front of the field. DeWeese to the top, Turner on the bottom. Is Adam Cabot going to draft with his teammate Bailey Turner if the opportunity presents itself, or try to take it 3 wide and get his 3rd win here on the season? For right now, though, it is a 2-car battle. Adam Cabot just kind of sitting and waiting if a mistake is made between these drivers. The mistake actually comes out of Turner, gets a little tight on the exit of 4, and that is going to allow Adam Cabot to clear through for the 2nd position. But we've seen Cabot struggle on these longer runs. Has he saved enough tire to be able to mount a challenge for the win here at the end? He is now just right on the back bumper of the 0-0 of DeWeese.
Yeah, it is coming down to the wire. It looks like he has learned quite a bit compared to the previous green flag runs. This time, just catches the wall out of turn number 4. Able to keep pretty solid momentum, even with that contact. But he is working the inside of the racetrack. He has got great center speed here down in 1 and 2, and that's getting him just about alongside. And that could be enough to get a little side draft, not this time, but maybe one of these next few laps to slow down the 0-0 before they race down into turn number 3. And this time it's about a car length between them, and he's falling right in the tire tracks.
It is going to be a tall order to get around that 0-0 of Braxton DeWeese, but they are right there on his back bumper. 6 laps to go here at Atlanta as we ride on board with DeWeese, taking a look back at his competition. He's got 1 in each lane, just absolutely hounding him. 2 of the fastest drivers here in the series directly behind. But Braxton DeWeese in his time here has showed that he has plenty of speed in his car as well. Trying to do everything he can, but here comes Cabot to the inside. Big run through the middle. He's right on the corner panel. They're door to door as they exit turn 4. A little bit of contact, and that has got all 3 cars under a blanket together. DeWeese able to stay clear of the lead for now, but they are looking 3 wide here through 1 and 2. Cabot on the bottom. Is he going to pull the slider?
He tried
Not quite clear enough to try it.
He tried to, got a little bit loose down there on the bottom, and that's now going to set him back a ways into the clutches of his teammate Bailey Turner, who's had a little bit of a resurgence here at the end of this run. He closed back in on those 2 as they were racing side by side. He's now able to clear for 2nd, so there goes Bailey Turner. Can he do anything to track down the 0-0 with just 4 laps remaining?
Just 4 laps to go, like you said here, and Bailey Turner now going to be the one to try yet again to mount a challenge to Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese now tried to snake a little bit down the straightaway, maybe break any draft that the 24 is getting. Bailey Turner has been really consistent running the bottom through the majority of this run, and it looks like maybe has saved just a little bit more tire, but Braxton DeWeese trying to utilize that clean air. 3 laps to go here at Atlanta. We might be shaping up for one of those classic Atlanta finishes like we used to see in real life here all the time. Kind of throwing back to the Gen 4 days. Thinking about like the Earnhardt and Labonte finish, the Harvick and Gordon finish. We might be shaping up for one of those here this evening. They're side by side for 2nd again. Turner on the bottom, Cabot up top. Battling for 2nd, but still closing in just a little bit on DeWeese. Put Cabot back to the number 2 position. Just 2 laps to go at Atlanta.
And this is some kind of battle, isn't it? This is one of those classic Atlanta, at least final few laps. We'll see how it shapes up here. Coming back to the white flag next time around, DeWeese has the lead, 2 car lengths in hand. Cabot trying to close back in. He's mounted a charge here. Got a good run down into turn number 3, closes into just 1 car length, coming back to the white flag.
Exit of turn number 4 for the 00 of Braxton DeWeese. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. This race is official. We are racing back to the checkers. DeWeese tried to pull a little bit of aero block. Cabot with a huge run through the middle of 1 and 2. He's got the momentum. He's looking. DeWeese with a wiggle off of turn number 2. That puts Cabot right on the back bumper. Will Cabot pull the dive bomb down here? Will he use the bumper? No. DeWeese with a little bit of an aero block through 3 and 4. Cabot looking to the top side. He's in the wall. Doesn't have the momentum. He's not going to be able to get there. Braxton DeWeese is your winner in Atlanta.
Wow, what a finish. What a race. They stayed clean the whole time. Wow, that was some good stuff right there.
That was an absolutely amazing finish between 3 drivers that were just hanging it out there, driving it as hard as they could every single lap there for about the last 15 laps. Braxton DeWeese, he only led 13 of them, but he led 13 of the most important ones. Comes home with the win here at Atlanta, and I have a feeling this is a popular one in the field. You can see a lot of drivers coming up, giving him a little congratulatory bump. Little congratulatory door bang here. Braxton DeWeese, one of the drivers that he just seems like one of the genuine good guys in the series. I got the opportunity to race against him a couple of times last season before I moved up here to the broadcast booth. He always raced clean, always races fair. He races hard, but he's definitely one of those that he's not going to rough you up. He's not going to put you in the wall. Just a really clean driver, and it looks like there are a lot of folks out there that are happy for him to come home with this win this evening as he burns it down here on the front straightaway for a well-earned victory here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. But we're going to let him finish up his celebration, do his donuts, and just get the party started here. While he's doing that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with you to get a word from our top 3 finishers, as well as hear from the top 3 finishers and give you your full race rundown. Stick around. We will be right back with you.
At Cynthia Rogers, MD Dermatology, we specialize in providing comprehensive expert care for the full spectrum of skin conditions, from complex skin diseases and skin cancer to aging concerns and aesthetic needs. With decades of combined experience in medical, surgical, and aesthetic dermatology, our team brings both deep clinical knowledge and a patient-first approach to every visit. Our practice focuses on developing personalized treatment plans tailored to each individual's skin, health, and life stage. We're located in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in the PSL Professional Center. Learn more or schedule a visit at floridaskindoctor.com.
Steel Graphics and Designs creates custom racing wraps and logos built for the real world and iRacing. From bold liveries to clean, professional branding, every design is made to perform on and off the track. Ready to upgrade your look? Contact Steel Graphics and Designs for custom wraps. Visit Steel Graphics and Designs on Facebook to learn more.
Backed by 70 years of experience, Duncan Water Systems specializes in commercial and residential water system testing, design, installation, and maintenance. Our mission at Duncan Water Systems is to provide high-quality water solutions to every customer. We pride ourselves on being responsive, honest, and customer-oriented. Our priority is safer water for you and your family. Contact us via call, text, email, or visit us at duncanwatersystems.com.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm going to go ahead and give you your full race rundown and then we'll get a word from our top 3 podium finishers here this evening. Braxton DeWeese comes home with the win in a hard-fought battle with Adam Cabot and Bailey Turner, who are going to round out your podium here this evening. Chris Samard, biggest mover of the race, up 15 spots from where he started. He comes home in 4th position. Ray Massey comes home in 5th, rounding out your top 5. In 6th, Keith Mayato, good recovery after the spin for him. In 7th is Angelo Ronas. Eric Hutton in 8th. Talk about a couple more good recoveries. Dallas Sullivan and Jake Miller recovering from damage here this evening to come home in 9th and 10th place, respectively.
Finishing 11th, also recovering a bit, Bradley Cooper, the number 1 machine. Jeremiah Vincent going to finish in the 12th spot. Michael Jones finishes in 13th. Paul Hahn comes home in 14th. Cody Maurer going to come home in the 15th position. Seth Hatchell had a great race here tonight. Connection problems on his end going to relegate him to a 16th place finish. 17th was James Loveland after a strong start to this one. Dennis Fairclough finishes in 18th. Cody Atkins comes home in 19th. And Jake Mockey going to round out the top 20.
In the 21st position is going to be Rob Liedel with Alan Dice in 22nd. Zach Smith comes home in 23rd. Christian Blackwell in 24th, Max Cost in 25th, Zachary Tyler in the 26th position to round out your field here this evening. But let's go ahead and get a word from our top 3 finishers, starting with 3rd place, Bailey Turner. Bailey, this is Daniel up in the VSPEED booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, man, really strong run tonight. You had a lot of speed in that car. Just talk us through a little bit just how the car was handling overall and how you were able to balance tire management with the speed that you showed, especially over those long green flag runs.
Yeah, I mean, with the whole race, it seemed like you wanted to be up high to protect that right rear. And so, you were in a constant battle of, do I want to ride behind the guy and be in dirty air? And then, also the guy behind you is packing air on you, upsetting the car and getting the rears kind of out of the track. And, I just kind of said, screw that, and rode the bottom all race, kind of the old tire saving line, and definitely worked out on the long run. I felt better than all those guys. I had one little wiggle that gave up the lead, and if I didn't have that, I think we would have stretched that lead out a bit further. And the caution that came out there at the end was just kind of ill-timed. I wanted that last run of the race to just be a little bit longer. I felt like 30 laps and beyond, we were probably the best car on track. And that run was just kind of in between of how much do you want to save and how much do you want to push. And I was I didn't want to give the lead to Braxton, but I felt like if I went and started trying to defend against him pretty hard, I was going to burn my stuff up and kind of fall back. So kind of rode back in line there, and Adam kind of timed his run perfect. And it was the same thing. Do I want to battle Adam and let Braxton just drive away, or do me and Adam want to settle it out for a few laps and try to get to him and see if one of us can get a arrow loose, or vice versa, and that kind of stuff. And a little disappointed that we couldn't have timed that run out a little better on the bottom and been there at the end. But the weeks we have been here, we've been, when we're not wrecked, finishing top 5 or top probably top 2 if we hadn't been wrecked the last couple of weeks. So we'll take it.
Yeah, really solid run for you, starting to build a little bit of momentum. We saw on that, the one green flag run we had there, the caution coming out in the middle of the pit cycle, and it was really when we were expecting all of you leaders to come down pit road at any time. How close were you to hitting pit lane, and were you trying to stretch it out a little bit longer just in case there was that caution?
Yeah, that was my thought process. I felt like, like I said, we were better than almost everybody else on the long run, and I was going to stretch that out to the end. And Eric got by me because I had to check up for Keith, and then he immediately decided he was going to pit. And at that point, I just said, let's keep stretching this thing out just a little bit longer. And we're making good lap time, and wanted to have some fresher stuff for the end of the race. And caution was kind of ill-timed. I was, it was nice how kind of spread the field was there, and was going to have a nice gap before we pit. Just wore out. That was, those Atlanta races that you're just slipping and sliding the whole time, death grip in the wheel. And throttle control is everything, and putting yourself in the right aero situation. So fun night overall. I was I thoroughly enjoyed this, and it's nice in this new I say new, I know it's been out for a handful of months now, but the next gen package, just having the aero tools if you are behind a guy, you can kind of get them a little more upset. You're still going to get aero tight, but if you can upset their car just enough, you might have a run at them.
Really solid run for you. Congrats on the podium finish. And before we let you go, who would you like to thank or shout out for this one?
Yeah, just all the teammates over there at Sad Boys. I appreciate Adam not wrecking me this week. That was nice. You guys up in the booth, obviously, I appreciate everything you guys do, and it's been fun to go back and watch these races. All the admins over there and all the league sponsors.
And, I'm bringing Adam up here next. I'm going to start off my interview with, hey, you didn't wreck your teammate this week just because you threw that in there at the end of it. So congrats again on the podium. I'm sure we'll be talking to you again here as the season goes along.
Appreciate it.
That is our third place finisher. Let's go ahead and get a word from our second place finisher, the man who did not wreck his teammate this week, as Bailey Turner just pointed out in his interview. Adam Cabot, this is Daniel in the booth. I take it that you got a copy on me based on the reaction there. Solid run here for you this evening. That last run, those last 15, 20 laps or so, just absolute cinema watching that up here in the booth. Do you feel like you had anything else you could have tried to get up there and get around the 00 for your third win in a row?
First off, congrats to Braxton. He did such a great job that last lap and really that whole last run. I really thought that I had them both exactly where I wanted them and that everything was playing out the way I wanted it to. The lead, as you guys saw, was basically a ticking time bomb. You can only lead for so long before the clean air, I think, just made your car so loose it was just like impossible to hang on to. So I just tried to time out saving the tires that last run and riding purposely in dirty air, which is not something that you're often going to hear in this car, but just really trying to time everything perfect to sprint to the finish. And I thought I did. And like Braxton is just like a freaking mind reader, I guess, because he just knew exactly the lines I wanted to take in both turns. And even still, like, I tried to not hit him, but just get him arrow loose in 3 and 4. And I thought for sure the line I took and how close I was to him that he was going to get sideways and at least make it an interesting finish and probably be able to get by him. And that just didn't happen. So I think he said that he put less fuel in the car to make the car a little bit tighter over the last run. So maybe that's why. But regardless, another great finish. But I'm not going to lie to you. I'm pretty bummed because I think that would have been my first time getting 3 in a row in a league. And, just came up just a little bit short. If I, in 3 and 4, you asked if there's anything else I could do. Like, if I drove down a foot lower in 3 and 4 on the last lap, I think that would have played out different. But like I said, he just read my mind perfect of exactly what I was going to do. And if you can do that in this car, then that's certainly a way to win yourself some races.
It certainly wasn't for lack of effort trying to get that third win in a row, that is for sure. But, something we saw throughout the evening was drivers having really big slides, big saves. And, I can only assume that just makes your tires absolutely angry at you for a while after that. So how difficult is it with this car, especially at a track like Atlanta with the conditions we had, where you get loose like that, you slide the tires? How difficult is it to kind of get them cooled off so you can go back on the attack and get after it again?
I'll be honest, I've been iRacing for a very long time. Probably coming up on like 15 years here, if not more. And I don't think I've ever experienced a race quite like that because the car was just like evil. Like it would just really snap. I know people said, say the next gen tends to do that, which I guess is true, but it was very unpredictable, and obviously tire management was a big part of it. But it was very dynamic, as you saw. There were a lot of different leaders and guys who saved their tires. Definitely came on strong towards the end. But it was like just evil loose. Like every time you got loose, you were like praising God that you didn't end up in the wall. And as we saw tonight, a lot of guys were not so fortunate. So there were plenty of opportunities for my race to go the way that I'm not sure exactly what happened to Seth. I think he just kind of lost it. Same with Keith. Same with a lot of guys, and it's very understandable because yeah, this car kind of just tried to kill you around every corner, and it certainly made it interesting.
Well, congrats on the second place, man. You're becoming a mainstay up here. We might need to start charging your rent here in the VSPEED booth as much as you're up here. But another solid run for you. Before we let you go, who you want to thank, any sponsors or shout outs for it?
Let me ask you a question. Was that Braxton's first win?
Yes.
Adam and I were actually
Yes.
talking about that, and I am pretty sure that it was his first win here in BTDY. I know he was close a lot last season in the ARCA car, but I do not believe that he actually did win last season.
Yeah, we confirmed it's his first career win.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so then in that case, shout out to Braxton. He certainly earned that one, and yeah, I know he's pumped, and he should be. So congrats to him.
All right. Well, there you have it from our second place finisher on the evening, Adam Cabot. And congrats again. We'll see you next week at Canadian Tire.
Sounds good. That'll be another interesting one.
All right, let's go ahead and get a word with our race winner, Adam Baker. I believe you have caught up with Braxton DeWeese.
Yep, I'm down here in victory lane with Braxton. Man, what a way to get your first career win. You hold off 2 former champions of BTDY in a fantastic cinematic finish. And man, tell us all the emotions you're feeling and just run us through the last run of this race.
I knew I put myself in a all right position to go for the win there after that caution. We had about 30 to go. I knew that I wasn't going to be in a position of saving like I had been earlier on in the race. I felt like we were pretty good on the long runs earlier on in the race. There was 2 long runs I felt pretty good with. The one there before that last caution, I believe that was the long run. I can't fully remember, but we ran a couple problems there. We went below onto the apron in the back stretch, and then we got loose off of 4, went off roading a little bit. I think we got a little bit of air, and then we came back, got a little loose into 1, saved it, and then we got it gathered back up, and we were still able to run times similar, if not a little bit faster in the leader. So, you know, I felt pretty good on our pace as long as I could hit my marks. I knew that Bailey and Adam there, they were going to be very, very, very difficult to not only get around, but stay in front of. I felt pretty good there going with about, it was around 20 to 15 to go. I felt like I started going there halfway through that last run, and, you know, I was feeling pretty good. Yeah, I short fuel just a little bit. I knew if I did that, that I could push it a little bit more and it's earlier in the run and not have to worry about the rears as much like before with more of a full tank. And that worked in my favor a little bit. I felt like I was a little tight on entry there as the run went on and I got to the lead. But other than that, I was able to keep it out there. That was very important. I felt like if I lost the lead, that it was going to be my race and I wasn't probably going to be able to get back around whoever it may be. I know Adam was pretty close there. Bailey was getting close there. So, you know, it's pretty good to be able to hold off both of them and come on with my first win here at Atlanta. I love this track.
Yeah, and it was one of those classic Atlanta finishes, and you put on a show for us and get your first career win over 2 past champions. We go to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park next week. How do you feel about going out there? Completely different animal, but you got this, you know, awesome momentum now on your side.
I'm actually looking forward to it. I ran a Toyota GR86 Cup race, I'd say about a month ago now, or 2 months ago, something like that, and it was an open setup race. I had a fixed setup, and I made maybe a change or 2. I don't know what I'm doing, you know. I've never really raced in open setups, and I never really raced a road course. I'm pretty much just an oval fella, and we were able to get the win in that, and I was able to get second place in the trucks there in the same league, just different series. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do. I know it's we're probably not going to battle for the win, but if we can just keep up the consistency that we've had this year and sniff around the top 5 or at least be in the top 10, I'd be happy with that. You know, we just got to finish first to be able to, you know, have some solid points. You can't get off the track or anything or have any mistakes, especially at a road course, because it can end your night right like that. So, you know, we're going to practice a little bit, try to do our best to keep it on track, and hopefully we can. It'd be awesome if we could race for a win with the Gen 7 car over there, but I'm still going to just go into that race, try my best, and hope for the best outcome.
Well, you got some momentum on your side, so it'd be cool to see if you could go back to back and join the multi-time winners this season. But you do hold on to get your first win, leading 13 laps here tonight at Classic Atlanta. Anybody you want to give a shout out to? I'm sure you've got a nice long list of all the people you'd like to thank.
Yeah, most definitely. Big shout out to Interstate Ford. We ran them earlier today in the Super Late Model Tour at New Smyrna. I was able to get 4th there, so solid run in both races today, top 5s in both, so I'm happy with that. I've been running pretty solid and pretty consistent in majority of my leagues here recently, so it's always good, always to finish up front and at least be with a chance for the win if anything happens. But big shout out to Interstate Ford. They're on the car a bunch, and they definitely support me, as well as 3 Ups Ice Cream Shop, Steak Time, Balance Arts Images, Dewey's Renovations, Elevated TV, Paid Leave, Wood Nickel Band, Ghost Train, Short Track Report, German Tires Media, Evan Piana Designs, Our Pete's House over in Winchester, Indiana, for helping serve pizza at Winchester Speedway and helping the Roadsters. Some pretty good pizza. I had some after my first race there, Labor Day weekend. But most importantly, it is the 15 years since my uncle passed away. I was just a young fella. I never really got to have like an actual conversation that I could truly remember with him. But all in all, from what I remember from him, he was one cool dude. And just the stories I hear about him is, it's the good ones that always go soon, and it's unfortunate. But I was pretty happy to be able to get this win for him mainly. So I hope he's proud of what I got going on. We've been able to use a simulator to get an opportunity in real life with my Thunder Roadster, and it's races like this that definitely help out and prove that hopefully I can, I prove I can race on the sim. Hopefully we can, get it together in real life. So we'll, try to do the best we can, and hopefully we can contend for wins in real life like we did here.
Yeah, well, this is definitely one for the highlight reel, and just let them know you beat a couple of past champions who've been running here on iRacing for the better part of a decade or decade and a half. Like Adam Cabot just said, he gave you a big shout out and congratulations, and big congrats here from all the team at VSPEED. Go celebrate, and we'll catch you next week at MoSport.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, Adam, Daniel, Bradley. I appreciate you, fellas. Looking forward to go back and watching this.
Awesome. Thanks so much. That is your race winner, Braxton Deweese, his first career win, and he is a happy man and a very deserving winner here tonight. 2 first-time winners this season. We got Bradley Cooper week 1, and now Braxton Deweese here in week number 4. It's been a good season so far here, Daniel.
It really has, and BTDY never fails to disappoint. Just for my time here in the broadcast booth this season and last season and time racing here, they always put on absolutely amazing races, amazing shows, and really cool to see these drivers get their first career wins. And next week, I don't know if this has ever been on the schedule before or not. Canadian Tire Motorsports Park doing a little road course racing next week. That's going to take a statistician deep dive that I am not prepared for to find out if this is a first time thing for the schedule next week. But I'll check with the admin crew and we can confirm that for the next show. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be interesting to see who can conquer the road course up there in Canada and see who can maybe possibly add their name to the list of first-time BTDY winners here in the FloridaSkinDoctor.com Racing Series. But that is going to do it for our coverage here this evening. So on behalf of all the admins here at BTDY, for everybody at VSPEED, including Bradley Cooper, Morgan Cook, Eddie Smith, and of course you as well, Adam Baker, and also a big shout out to Dougie Beard for those cams that we have here every week. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Daniel Cunningham. Join us next week as we head north of the border to Canada to take on MoSport. Good night, everyone.